So it's that time of year again. A lot of people are getting on their grind. If you're like me, you've been on your grind anyway, and you're trying to get in shape. You want to look good this summer. You want to take care of that body. You want to make sure your gut looks well. A lot of people out here trying to get a six-pack. I could dig it. Truth be told, you got to change your diet if you want a six-pack. You want your stomach to look good, you got to change your diet. So what I want to talk about is visceral fat. Visceral fat is the fat that it deposits itself deep within your abdominal cavity. It could also deposit itself around your heart. It's a very dangerous type of fat because you don't really see it. I mean, you do have some bloating and things of that sort, but you don't really see the fat because it's really actually stuck to the organs inside your body. It's not the same as subcutaneous fat. It's not the same as that. Subcutaneous fat is the fat you'll find under your skin. That's the fat between your skin and your muscles. So it may be on the outside of your muscles. But that visceral fat, it's a very lethal fat, man, because it's, like I said before, it's hard to detect. So how do you get it? You gain visceral fat by eating a lot of sugary foods. So if you're the type of person that likes cakes, maybe you like eating what are those things? Devil dogs and Twinkies and Crimpets, and chocolate cookies. And cookies is one of my vices, but I haven't had a cookie in a long, long time. And it does require a lot of discipline. If you don't want the fat in your body and you really love yourself, you avoid the sugary stuff. You'll stay away from it, no matter how tempting it is, and how much it may smell good, look good. Sugar is like an addiction. Sugar cane in particular, okay? And the brain kind of depends on these things after you've taken in so much of it. Your brain just kind of looks forward to it. And same thing with salt. Our brain gets chemically addicted to it. Matter of fact, addictions are a chemical. It's a chemical in our brain that causes us to become addicted. Dopamine is a major part in that chemical addiction that we have to some of these things that we're chemically addicted to. So the chemical addiction is dopamine. That's something that our brain secretes. It's just one aspect of it. There are other things involved. And like with any addiction, once you satisfy that addiction, once the brain gets a little taste of that pleasure, it wants that pleasure again. It's like an orgasm, just like anything that you eat and it tastes really good. Or maybe some people who are depressed may depend on alcohol or maybe some type of a substance. That one experience with pleasure, that's dopamine. That neurotransmitter causes you to become addicted. It's a chemical substance in our brain that's secreted that causes us to depend on what has brought that pleasure upon us. And that's the same thing with food and sugar and salt. The things that we enjoy, we love the taste. And you'll hear people say, man, I love this. I don't want to give up the pork. You can talk all that stuff that you want to, but I'm gonna still eat my pork. But the truth of the matter is a lot of the things that we want to, maybe we desire are not necessarily what we need. So you have a body that needs certain things. Your body is your machine. You're the spirit inside of that body. Your body is a machine. You got to take care of the machine. And, what you'll find a lot, I don't know how universal this is, but check out a person and how they take care of their vehicle. And maybe how they take care of themselves as well. I mean, because this is your vehicle. This is how you move. This is how you get from point A to B. This is your first vehicle. Your body is also your first temple. So what you put in your mind is, just as important as what you're putting into your body. They both work together. So there are foods that are spiritual too. So, certain pomegranates and a lot of fruits. A lot of fruits are really good for opening up pathways in your body to allow you to be more receptive to spiritual energy. A lot of people don't know these things. And just because you don't know it doesn't mean it's not too late. You can still learn these things. You still understand these things, especially as you get older. It becomes even more imperative that you eat right. When you exercise, you want to get rid of that visceral fat that I was talking about that's around your organs, the real dangerous fat that you cannot see, not the subcutaneous fat that you have between your skin and your muscles, but that fat around your organs that you cannot see. You have to exercise. You have to cut back on certain foods. You have to cut back on alcohol. If that's something you're drinking, if you're drinking, you need to maybe consider leaving alcohol alone altogether, or just cutting way back on it. Stay away from processed foods. Alcohol, processed foods, it's just like a bunch of empty calories. All they cause is you to get more fat, and that visceral fat that I'm talking about. Exercise, lots of water, lots of rest, a lot of deep spiritual energy for your mind and your heart, so that, not only are you eating right, but you're putting the right things into your mind and into your spirit. A lot of people like to exercise. They say, man, I walk every day, man. I walk, so I'm exercising. Walking is good. Doing jumping jacks is good. You have to do something, especially as you get older. You have to do something that is a weight-bearing exercise. So jumping jacks, walking, jogging, all of those things are really excellent. But if you're riding a bicycle or you're doing elliptical, those are high-intensity, low-impact exercises that really don't strengthen your bones. So as you get older, it's more imperative that you do weight-bearing exercises, because your bones become a lot more brittle. They don't produce as much calcium as they once did. They're not as dense. So you have to do things to put that shock on your body so that your bones produce the calcium in order to stabilize you as you get older. This is why older people end up breaking hips and things of that sort. So in addition to cutting back on visceral fat and things of that sort, you got to understand that there's a multitude of other things that can happen if you're not the type of person who watches your diet. You ever see a person who's heavyweight or overweight a little bit? They may be obese and maybe not, but if you find yourself walking the stairways or walking anywhere and you're breathing very heavily, it's probably because you have very thin blood vessels and they've been compromised from your diet that you have, from the fat, maybe the visceral fat that you have in your body that's surrounding your organs and your vessels and all of these things, and it's making it very difficult for blood to reach your extremities. So your muscles have to work a lot harder for you to be able to complete your exercise, to walk from point A to point B or climb stairs and things of that sort. Because when muscles contract, the mitochondria in it needs oxygen. But if your vessels are very thin, the less blood that can get to those muscles, the less oxygen that can get there, causes your heart to work even harder, and that's what leads to heart attacks. So you have to be very careful about that too. So exercising, you have to bring your heart rate up to at least 2.5 times its resting rate. Never lose the knowledge once you get it, but this is what you have to do. You have to raise your heart rate up to 2.5 times your resting heart rate daily. You have to do that daily in order to have a healthy heart. And especially for those people who have high blood pressure or you may be hypertension or things like that, exercise, meditation, and breathing exercises can really help you with that. So if you like what I'm talking about, you like these types of things, just give me a like, make comments. I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say about this. It really does matter what you eat. A lot of people want to take sea moss for gut health, but what good is gut health if you're eating beef and you're eating swine and this red meat is carcinogenous, and this has been proven. A lot of fat is in beef and pork and chicken and fried foods. You have to cut back on that or get off of it altogether. Red meat, I just advise people to get away from it. Consider living a vegan life. It's not soft, it's not feminine, it's just healthy. Look at our teeth. Our teeth are for chopping, for chopping and crushing. That's for like vegetation. We're not carnivores. You ever seen a carnivore's mouth? A carnivore's mouth has fangs in it. They're for ripping and tearing flesh. We're not made for that. Consider a vegan lifestyle. I know it's hard because, like I said, that dopamine from the pleasure, that fried chicken and them French fries and that cheeseburger and all that stuff that that all of us have become so used to eating, it becomes hard to let alone. Consider that. Remember, you got 2 eyes for looking and 1 for seeing. Act accordingly. That's all I got.